Yo, what's happening, people? What's up? We're recording there. Hope everything's smooth on YouTube. What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, IFBB PRO, and today we're going to be talking about man boobs versus weight loss. The whole concept around changing your body when it comes to losing weight, especially if you're a man with either man boobs or if you got beer bellies, things like that, things you want to actually change, that you want to change, that you have to lose weight to change, or at least burn fat. But we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, about the difference between burning fat, the difference between losing weight and burning fat, and of course, changing your image. So, sort of like three different corners of the triangle here we're going to be looking at today. Of course, if you have questions, Dylan, what's good? If you have questions, drop them as we go along. I will be reading them at the end. Of course, at the end, I'll have the time to respond to everything. Outside of that, I want to stay on topic, so I will be sticking with the podcast episode until the ending. Okay, so if you're new here, now you know that. If you're not new here, now you do. Or if you're not new here, you probably already knew that. Just setting up over here real quick. Make sure that everything is live on YouTube. What's good? Watermelon Crusher says, "We go gym." Hell yeah, we go gym. All right, so people, guys and girls. We'll be diving into this podcast episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your returning champion, IFBB PRO Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. And today, I'll be breaking down the difference between man boobs and weight loss, or at least this triangle of three corners that we look at when it comes to comparing man boobs, weight loss, and fat loss, and what you need to do in order to make sure the weight goes down so that the fat comes off and that the man boobs stay off. Okay, so I want to let you know that that's a topic today. But before we dive in, I want you to share this out to somebody else that you know might have an issue with this or might want to hear what I have to say in this episode. All right. So if you can, share it out to a friend that knows that they need to hear this message, or if you wish just to share the extra knowledge that you got today. All right. All this knowledge is free. Okay. So let's get into it. All right. So if you struggle looking at yourself in the mirror as a man, if you finally, been anxious, if you've been anxiously staring at the weight scale, basically praying for the numbers to finally go down this week, and it never does, despite your efforts of continuously, literally going to the gym as much as you can, eating as clean as you can, but the weight still doesn't go down, this episode is 100% dedicated to you. Okay, especially if you're listening to this because you want to get rid of your man boobs, because you want to get rid of your beer belly, or because there's something on your body that you don't like, that you want to change, and it's mostly made out of fat and water. If that's something that that sparks your interest, that's in your head, that's in your mind as you listen to this, then I need your full undivided attention. Okay, like most dudes, you probably say that once you hit a certain weight, you lose the man boobs, the beer belly, and the love handles. And this is something that I know is true that most men think. Whenever I'm in the gym, and sometimes men will come up to me, they'd be like, "Matt, I want to get rid of my man boobs. How much weight do I need to lose in order to get rid of my man boobs?" And honestly, it's a really good question. It's like it's a beginner question, definitely, but it's a good question because it shows the knowledge on your end that in order for your body to change, you got to lose weight. So that alone, that's amazing, right? Believe me, I praise that now because a lot of people they don't understand that. They just want to change their body, get more muscle, but weigh the same. And so it's usually men that have that issue. But for other men, or the other men that I'm talking about now, that come up to me that will ask me these questions, understand that you can't weigh the same and remove something from your body unless we're talking about a long period of time when you do a recomposition, which is essentially you burn the fat and build muscle at the same time, and then focus more on building muscle when there's less fat on your body because you've burnt most of it off, right? So that's a body recomp, essentially burning the fat and then putting on more muscle than you had fat over time, and that's technically replacing the weight. So, for example, if you're 250 pounds, you cut down to 200 pounds, and of course, this is not going to happen. And then you go back up to 250 pounds, but you have a lot more muscle at 250 pounds. Okay, this is just an absurd example. I actually recommend nobody do this. Then, technically, you change the way you look, but you weigh the same. But the process was that you had to burn a whole bunch of fat and then build up muscle after that process, or do both at the same time for a longer period of time, and then that's how you sort of change your body, right? Most men, don't understand that in order to change your body, the number on your scale must change. If you want a bigger chest, it's as odd as it sounds, you might have to get lighter because it's an illusion. Okay, if you want a bigger, like more muscular chest or bigger, more muscular arms, bigger, more muscular delts, anything like that, you got to get a little bit leaner because muscle has this effect where the leaner you get, the more big it looks, the harder it looks, the more veins it has, the more vascular it is, right? So if we can understand that, and we can understand that leveraging your weight can give you more of that appearance, then all you need to do is understand that you got to lose weight in order to change it, right? You got to lose weight and make that number go down on the scale in order to change the look, right? Not really. And the reason why is because weight loss and fat loss are two different things. I'm going to repeat that again. Weight loss and fat loss are two completely different things. Weight loss is weight. Anything weighs anything. You can weigh bricks, you can weigh feathers, you can weigh fat, you can weigh muscle, you can weigh water. When we talk about body weight, we are talking about everything in our body, our bones. We're talking about our organs. We're talking about, our fat that we carry, the muscle that we carry. We're talking about everything when we talk about weight. And if we're talking about weight reduction, there is no real correlation with just losing weight and changing your body in a healthy, sustainable way that you can actually keep the permanent results of. So, for example, if you focus on your weight, you can change the way you look, as weird as this sounds. You can do a crash diet, change the way you look immediately, but you will feel like garbage. You will feel and probably look like shit because you're so tired because of a crash diet, eating almost nothing in such a short period of time and forcing yourself to exercise. First of all, you can't live the rest of your life like that. So this is a habit that you're not going to be able to live all the way through with. So you can pretty much count your days as to how long you're going to be keeping your results in the first place. But even once you do get down to that point and you lose the amount of weight that you want to lose to change your body, to get rid of those man boobs, to get rid of the beer belly, it still won't be as good a look going down with a crash diet versus and then focusing on weight loss instead of focusing on fat loss. And so, what's the difference between weight loss and fat loss? Weight loss, you're focusing on just decreasing the number on the scale, and you think that's going to give you this outcome. And it kind of half will give you the outcome, and you won't even be able to keep it because of the style or the method that you use to achieve that, right? So there's that, and then there's the fat loss way. So what's the difference between the fat loss? Well, fat loss is it's pretty simple. It's pretty actually specific, and that's the difference here. Weight loss, you're focusing on doing anything you can to make that number go down on the scale, and fat loss, you're doing everything you can to make sure it's only the fat that's being reduced on your body. Only the fat that's being reduced on your body. And why is this important? Why do you want to focus on only reducing the fat on your body? Well, the reason why you want to focus on only losing the fat on your body, which I'll tell you right now, it's not 100% possible to do, but it's 80 or 90% for the most part. Okay. You're still going to lose a tiny bit of muscle. You're still going to lose a tiny bit of water. But the whole thing is to lean the scale towards burning more fat than everything else. And out of all the weight that's being lost, that 90 to 80% of the weight that's being lost is either water weight or fat, but fat and then water weight in that order. Okay. And that's what's actually going to give you not only that decreased weight, of course, your weight will come down a little bit. It's not going to be as dramatic as if you were just to focus on dropping weight altogether and reducing that number, because that's not the standard. And it's more of looking in the mirror and that being the standard, and looking at the way clothes fit and that being the standard. And the reason why it's so important to literally focus on fat burning instead of weight loss is because remember what I was talking about earlier, that illusion of having less body fat makes you look bigger, makes it look like you have more muscle. I'll give you an example. At the peak of my off season, between 215 to 220 pounds, I don't look like half the guy that steps on stage. Like, I still look big, I still look full, I still look round. But when I get shredded, even though I'm like 35 pounds lighter, I look 30 pounds bigger than when I'm actually 30 pounds bigger than my stage weight. And why is that? Because the illusion of having muscle, the illusion of conditioning, the illusion of density in the muscle. And that comes with the reduction of fat and the reduction of water retention. Okay. No, I'm not saying that you have to get to this point every single time where you're completely shredded, ready to go onto a stage, and that's your end goal if you want to get rid of your man boobs. No, that's not what you should aim for. But it's somewhere in the balance. Because if you head in that direction, but you moderate yourself, give yourself something that you can actually do with a workout routine. Give yourself something that you can actually do with the way that you can eat, the way that you can prepare your meals and be consistent with it, then you're in the green. Then you are in the green. And why? Because you're focusing more on burning fat than losing weight. And that is key. If you just lose weight, you are going to lose a lot of muscle. And if you lose a lot of muscle, you're not going to have that look that I know you want when you do hit that number on the scale. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay, let me know if that makes sense to you. All right, this episode is dedicated to you. Like, okay, check this out. Check this out, guys and girls. Mainly guys. Okay, I hear this usually from most guys, and this is sort of running back to what I was talking about earlier on. They think that once they hit a certain weight, they'll lose the man boobs or the beer belly or the love handles. And when they ask the question, because I didn't answer this, now I'm gonna answer. Now I'm gonna answer it. It's it's subjective for everybody, depending on your height, depending on how physically active you are, what you're capable of doing, if you've got injuries, if you are able to train at a certain threshold, things of that sort. So many things, genetics and all that. Those things are going to determine ultimately whether or not you're going to lose your man boobs or your beer belly or your love handles based off of the amount of weight that you lose. And that also, depends on the one where you're starting and how long you've been there. If you've been chubby your whole life, or if you just got chubby after high school, or the last 20 years. So there's so many variables. But long story short, what I've seen time and time again is that you cannot go wrong. If you are a man with man boobs, with love handles, with a beer belly, you cannot go wrong with aiming between 20 to 30 pounds of fat loss. If you can aim for that, and I'm saying not just in a couple of months, I'm not saying just in a half a year. I'm saying let that be your goal, period. Let it take a year to achieve if you're doing this without help. If you're doing this with help, you can probably achieve that in 4 months, 6 months, right? Of course, you don't want to do it too fast because then that sort of bleeds into the land of crash dieting, which of course is the weight loss, not the fat loss. We don't want that because we want to be retaining as much muscle as possible so that when we get down to the point of having that reduced weight, we can also look a lot better because we have more muscle, and the man boobs will reduce, the love handles will reduce, the beer belly will reduce, and it will continue to reduce over time as long as we continue to put an emphasis on building muscle and burning fat. Why? Because the more muscle you build, the more calories you burn just resting, which means if you're burning more calories resting, you're either burning two forms of energy: carbs or fats. And if you're doing this right, and you're coming out of a cut and you are rebounding and you are slowly reintroducing your carbohydrates back into your diet, your body's still going to use fat storages as an energy source to burn through, because your BMR, caloric expenditure rate, will be increased, right? So it'll only help you burn fat faster and longer permanently and improve your look because you're adding more muscle. Okay, so the answer is, how much weight do you need to lose to get rid of your love handles? How much weight do you need to lose to get rid of your beer belly? How much weight do you need to lose to get rid of those love handles? 20, 30 pounds. Aim for that. Let it be a year, but you'll start to see at least 50% of it decrease after the first 30 pounds, at least. And at most, 90%. But also, I want to put this out there too. It also does depend, and I was sort of talking about this a little bit earlier on, how long you've been in that state. If you were born chubby and you've been chubby your whole entire life, chances are, even if you make that whole 360-degree turn or 180-degree turn, technically you won't be able to lose the man boobs because of the accumulated tissue that's there, and that we call gynecomastia, and you're probably gonna have to get a surgery for that, right? And same with like being way overweight for your entire life. Once you lose all that weight, skin surgery, right, is an option, right? So the remnants of things will still be there if you've been suffering with them for your entire life. But if it's only been the last 5 years, okay, and you notice a rapid weight gain, you're likely to make that full change without any surgeries. And I'm telling you about surgeries because it's real. Because you're gonna get to that point, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so fucking perfect, except this thing. And yes, there's a point in time where you got to just accept yourself, but also you are you, and nobody else can make your rules for you. It's your body, it's your choice. If you want to look like the way you want to look like, you have every right to look that way. And if that means getting rid of the man boobs that you work so hard to get rid of through surgery, because that's all you can do now, because the remnants of fat there is something that you can't really burn off, then so be it. That's what you want. right? But long story short, 20 to 30 pounds is going to get you at least 50 to 90% reduction of the size of the fat that you have on your body. And if you don't believe me, lose the weight, send me a picture, and we'll laugh about it together. Okay. So once you hit a certain weight, quote unquote, you should finally have a six pack. That sort of falls into what we're saying here. Again, it's all subjective. Everyone's height, weight, physical activity levels, it's all going to give them a different physique and not ultimately going to give them the same physique with the same outcomes, even if they put the same effort in. It just doesn't work that way. And I think if you were listening this far, you probably understand that by now. Okay. Like I understand where you're coming from. It makes sense to think that at first. But the only problem is that like burning fat, it doesn't work in the way of losing weight alone. Like you can't just think of, okay, when the number goes down 30 pounds, I should look this way. It's going to happen anyway when the numbers go down, but your race is not the numbers going down, it's the fat going down. So the mirror becomes more of a scale than the scale itself, if that makes sense, because you're measuring your progress more accurately with your eyeballs than with your scale. Your scale is just tracking to make sure everything else is working. Right? You pick up your momentum, start losing 1, 2, 3 pounds a week, keep it in between 2 to 3 pounds. Boom, now just use the mirror and make sure that you're continuing that path of losing 2 to 3 pounds at most 3 pounds a week if you're like extremely obese. And you will get to where you want to get to. Depending on how much time, I don't know. It depends on the resources, it depends on your ability to, be disciplined, the help that you might or might not be getting, so many variables. All right? Like just because you know a guy that looks good at 150 pounds does not mean you would look good at 150 pounds too. That's pretty much what I wanted to say here with the last segment, which means using a scale as a reference point to determine how you look isn't really as accurate as looking in the mirror, right? Scales are still extremely important, but more of like a measuring stick to track your progress as opposed to a mirror, because a mirror will give you live, real time feedback that you need in order to truly estimate how your body is going to look. On top of that, you get to, fit in your clothes and see how much closer am I really getting. And that gives you more of like a mental perspective on the progress that you're making as opposed to a fucking number. Because believe me, sometimes that number won't change one week or the other week, but you'll notice incredible strength in the gym one week, or you'll notice you look way freaking tighter, way better, but you weigh the same, right? The weight, the number itself, it fluctuates so much, it almost doesn't matter unless you know you're just making progress. What do I mean? Well, you wake up in the morning, you drink your water, you'll have your meals. That water and those meals you have probably going to give you an extra 4 to 5 or even 6 pounds, depending on how much you're fucking eating. Do those 4, 5 to 6 pounds stick on you immediately after you eat it? No. So if you weigh yourself at the end of the day versus at the start of the day, it's like you made fucking -6 pounds progress, right? But if you weigh yourself in the morning and then you wait the night and weigh yourself the next morning when you're fasted, or if you weigh yourself at the same time and you eat the same meals, then you'll have more of an accurate reading. And even that, it's not going to be 100% satisfying to know when it comes to your progress, because sometimes it'll just be at a standstill, but you'll still be improving because your clothes will be fitting better and your body is better optimizing fat burning and muscle building in the process, right? Like just take that in. Take that in. Once you understand that your man boobs, your beer belly, all of that will go away with you focusing more on fat loss as opposed to just reducing the number, then you can understand that you can use the mirror as a better tool. Of course, you can use the scale on the side to measure and make sure you're still moving forward, but the mirror as a tool to actually gauge the progress you're making in real time, right? You can see your weak points, your strong points, and do a routine that balances them, a training routine. And if you don't know how to build that, hire a coach. Okay. That's the best tool to accurately gauge how you're going to look in the future of your fitness journey. The mirror, it works. Trust me. Don't get discouraged when the scale slows down or doesn't go down for 1 week. Okay. Every fitness journey has its fast and slow times. The beginnings are usually fast for people that are quite overweight, and then it slows down in the middle, and then slows out a lot towards the end, and then out of nowhere it just speeds up, and then you're in momentum, and then it's like you're not thinking about it. You don't even have those same doubts in your head or the same excuses of I don't want to cook the meals. They're already cooked. I don't want to go to the gym. I'm already there. Like that's when you reach that point, right? And for everybody, it's different. Okay, and everyone has different goals, so it makes sense that that's different. All right. Every fitness journey has fast and slow times. Look for the visual improvements in your reflection, and don't ever forget the vision of what you want to look like, the vision of what you want your clothes to fit like, the vision of how you perceive others perceiving you. Yeah, it's real. We're human beings. We actually give a fuck about what people think, and that's okay, right? If you want to present yourself in the most confident manner, in a healthy way, and you want to always leave a lasting and a good impression, then it's okay to care about that shit. Let the mirror be your guide, okay? But also take this information and understand that if you don't apply this, it's going to be almost fucking impossible to get what you want, okay? If this sounded like rocket science to you, I'm fucking sorry. I really tried my best. I really did. But if you need me to break it down even more, shoot me a message and I'll try to send you audio clips of me just summarizing this, okay? Or I'll send you anything that will help you understand this as much as I do or close to it so that you can get the benefits from this information, okay? That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to give you guys and girls, mainly you men with beer bellies, a valuable experience today. Feel free to DM me anytime if you've got a question regarding fat loss. I'll see my best. I'll do my best to help, honestly. I'm quite busy, but I'll be able to open it up, see what you got, and I might even either make a podcast episode about it and tag you, or I'll just respond to you. Okay. So don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your Instagram story to show support. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. All right. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. Natural IFBB Pro Mapitale signing out. Boom. All right. Podcast episodes recorded. See here. Not now. Okay. All right. Yeah, yo. What's happening, Justin? What's happening? Um. Oh shit. Yeah. What's up, Lizzie? You said what's good? You look sleepy. Yeah. No, I barely slept. I slept like 4 hours today. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Q&A. Oh yeah, Q&A segments would be interesting. Oh, so I got a question here from Justin. He says, "Could you kindly go into depth about body recomposition?" So, what is it specifically that you want to know about body recomposition? Because there's quite a bit. Is it like how to do it, what to expect, or what's realistic, what's not? Sort of dive into that. What do you mean by body recomposition? What is it that you want to know about it? So I can like just hit the nail on the head. Oh man. Let's see here. Yeah, Justin, if you're still here, just so how to do it. Okay, so I'll try to explain this as simply and as quick as possible. So yeah, that's a good question, Lizzie. When will I do Q&A? Yeah, I don't know, maybe Friday. Friday I could do it. I really could. Got a little knowledge about trying to do it. Okay, so what do you know about it? What do you know about it? And then we're gonna break it down from everything that you know you don't know about it. But I'll make it as quick as possible. So I'm asking these questions just to like hit the nail on the head here. So what is it that you know about composition? I'm just gonna give him a chance here to respond there. What is it that you know? You don't have to go too crazy with it, just like jot form. All I know is that you lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Cool. All right. Perfect. So that you have a firm grip and understanding on what a recomp is. That is essentially, I would even say outside of recomp, is like the main way to successfully just have a fitness journey, focusing on burning fat and building muscle at the same time. Like that just means success in your fitness journey. But if we're talking about like body recomposition, it's pretty much the goals that you set with that method of achieving. So the method that you use to change your body, which is to, you can either just focus on losing weight, which is the worst thing ever, crash dieting. You can do it the right way, which I think is what you said, lose fat and build muscle, or you can do it the old school way of just focusing on cutting and then just focusing on bulking. So the bulking and the cutting technically is a version of recomp, right? Because what you're doing is you are recomping your body. You're making it so that your muscles are growing, but the fat is either decreasing or staying the same. So that's what we call recomping the body. You can do that with the bulk and the cut the old school way, or you can do it I would say the more efficient way, the more sustainable way, but the longer way, which is to body recomp by eating in a slight calorie deficit while keeping protein, honestly, depending on how hard you train, fairly high. You can keep it at 1 gram per pound, or you can just boost to the moon 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. That depends on, of course, your health and your body's abilities to ingest and metabolize protein and stuff like that. But what I would recommend is keeping your protein the highest macronutrient. I'm not going to give you any percentages because it's going to vary depending on who you are and like what you're physically able to intake based off of your health requirements. I know a lot of people can't take a lot of like high protein diets, so proteins is primary, number one. Carbs will be second, and then fats will be third. Fats you almost don't even think about. You'll get trace amounts of them, right? But the carbs you want to sort of only leverage and have most of your carbs on the days that you train the hardest. Like so, like legs, for example. I know you train hard on legs, and you know you're pretty fucking strong. So you can give yourself, I would say, of your height between 300 400 grams um, of carbs on a day that you're training super hard, but still also be in a calorie deficit, right? A slight one. I'm saying slight, dude. I mean like 150 to maximum 300 calories under your caloric maintenance, and you'll be losing weight so fucking slow. But the whole point is the slower you lose the weight, which is, I'll say, if you want to be fucking perfect, half a pound to three quarters of a pound, maximum 1 pound a week. If you can lose that much every single week, you'll know that the amount of fat that you're burning and the amount of muscle that you're leveling off with on is fair. It's balanced, right? Because otherwise you risk just burning a lot more fat, which is going to burn a lot more muscle if you go a little bit faster and accelerate. But it also does depend on your current body composition, right? If you have a lot more muscle than fat already, then you could probably get away with eating more calories because your BMR is already higher. But if you're already fucking fat, right, you're likely going to have to eat slightly less and less and less over time. That makes sense. But long story short, you got the nail on the head. Body recomposition, build muscle, burn fat at the same time. How do you do that? Slight calorie deficit. 150 to 300 calories under your maintenance level. Lose weight ever so fucking slowly, and once you do hit that point of conditioning and you look shredded enough, then you can start to feed yourself a little bit more carbohydrates and come back up on the recomp, but not as aggressively. You might even just go back to maintenance or a little bit over maintenance. Okay, it's the results are fucking amazing, but the only downside to it, man, is that it just takes the longest time. Okay, if you compare it to bulking and cutting, of course, bulking and cutting traditionally might be a little bit faster, but it's not as healthy. To force feed yourself so much and then to cut down so aggressively. Even if you do it right, you give yourself enough protein to cut down. But like that bulking and cutting to that extreme, it becomes very, very bad for your hormones, and it can really fuck up your thyroid production or thyroid regulation and just the way your body operates and your metabolism in general. You don't want to really mess with that. So doing something that's always slightly gradual but takes more time to do is always going to yield better results. But again, it just takes more fucking time. So if you want a successful recomp, I'd say devote 1 to 2 years of like making that an intention, right? Still focus on building strength, of course. You can even train hypertrophy if you like, train however you want, as hard as you want, kill yourself in the gym. That's cool. But keep that intention with your nutrition in mind with the calories, 150 to 300, and then keeping that protein no less than at least 1 point, I'd say 1.2, but 1 gram per pound of body weight. Make sure you're always getting your protein in, feeding that muscle as you do as much as you can to burn that fat by lifting, by doing your cardio and having that routine in there. All right. So hopefully I didn't over explain that, but I really wanted you to see everything from every angle. So I appreciate you there. Thanks for that question. And I'm thinking about it. Friday, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A for Friday because this is interesting. Um, cool. Liz, yeah, I'm so off topic. I've been doing awesome with my caloric deficit. What's your max on squats? Awesome. I really love to hear that you're doing good with your nutrition. My max on squats, I don't remember the last time I don't really do that. I'm not a powerlifter, but I think I did 2 reps. The heaviest I ever did in my life has to be like 505 for like 2 reps or 495 for 2 reps. Yeah, 5 plates, whatever that is. So 495 for 2 reps. Um, of course, I had somebody there watching me, but I don't squat heavy. I usually keep it at 4 plates top set for like 5 to 10 reps, top set, top set. I don't squat really heavy. I don't really lift heavy in general. now that I take it in, I really don't lift heavy. Like on a great day, like I'm benching 3 plates for reps. Do you know what I mean? So, and you don't really need a lot of weight if you want to build a fucking amazing physique. Unless you want to get stupid massive, in which you also need gear for, but that's a conversation for another day. Justin says, Holy, that pretty much explained everything I needed to know about it. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you for real. Hell yeah, you know what time it is, dog. And shout out to the Subi. You know what I mean? It's slammed as fuck. That shit's looking beautiful. I like the page. I really love it, man. But yo, I appreciate it. And if you ever got questions in the future, hit me up. You already know what time it is. I got your back. All right, people. That is it. That is all. Peace, love, motherfucking protein. I'll be back again. We out. Boom.